this was one of the most horrendous crimes that I had ever investigated.
This is not the act of a crazed psychopathic serial killer.
Two very different views. The man who killed 7-year-old Ashley Carlson as he tries to get out of the prison he was never supposed to leave. Patrick Harned was 16 when he killed Ashley Carlson in Astoria in 1999. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, 24 years later, he's perhaps the most infamous killer getting a chance to convince the parole board to set him free. That's after former Governor Kate Brown used her commutation powers to give dozens of violent offenders who committed their crimes as kids the opportunity to convince the parole board their minds have matured and they're no longer a danger. Now, in this story, some may find disturbing, you will only hear Patrick Harned's voice after he exercised his right to not have his image recorded. He also changed his name in prison to Jesse Payne Rana.
But I can't stand you. What you did to my family.
During the online hearing, Ashley Carlson's mother told the parole board about the unexpected pain this hearing is causing.
Every February, it's awful for everybody. And I was in a place where I was at peace with this, and she's at rest.
In February of 1999, Ashley went with Patrick Harned to his Astoria home where he would sometimes babysit her. On Wednesday, her mother had to listen again to how he choked her with his hands and then with a belt and hid her body in the basement, dug her up, and thought about sexually abusing her corpse.
And what do you think that has been like for them over these years?
It's been painful. They struggle with it. It's pain that this never going to go away.
Now 40 years old, with his new name, Jesse Payne Rana told the board he's learned empathy and coping tools to deal with the anger that exploded inside him the day he killed Ashley.
The amount of abuse that you suffered as a child is beyond unacceptable.
Parole board records show Payne Rana was sexually abused by male family members as a young child before he was kicked out of the home and forced to live with a registered child sex offender where he was raped as a teenager. At 16, he had the mental capacity of a third grader. No one seems to deny the system, including Child Protective Services, failed him.
Stephen King could not write a book that described the environment that he was in.
So how do you think your own abuse history then factored into your behavior or how you were thinking at the time?
Just all my anger and everything just came out all at once. And I took it out on Ashley.
Recently, 2 psychologists determined he has a moderate to high risk of reoffending. 2 people who have worked with him in prison testified he's made drastic improvements to his behavior in the last couple years after dozens of disciplinary reports, including threats to kill staff.
So whatever happens after today's hearing, I want you to know that you are absolutely on a far better path and track than 3 years ago.
My impression throughout this and at the end of it was that Patrick was a serial killer who got caught with his first victim.
Even if I'm free, I'm still somewhat in prison because I took Ashley's life. I hurt Ashley's family, people that cared about her. It's never going to go away. I have to live with this and this hurt till the day I die.
He doesn't deserve to be out. He's going to hurt someone else.
So Payne Rana and his lawyer argued he would do even better outside of prison where there are more resources to help him with his diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. Parole board members seemed very concerned about the history of his discipline in the prison system. One of the parole board members counted 59 disciplinary reports on him while he's been in prison.
59. Okay, and then let's talk about his good behavior. And is the timing of the good behavior relevant in this?
So the former Clatsop County District Attorney Josh Markey, who prosecuted the original case, he noted that his improved behavior seemed to come about the same time that Kate Brown announced her commutation order, and he wondered whether that timing had a lot to do with it. We should note we could learn the parole board's decision about whether he'll be set free by next week.
Yeah, and once again, your report here, and you've reported on similar stories of people who are incarcerated, and then you talk with the loved ones who are impacted. A reminder that these are all very complex issues.
Very complex issues, and Kate Brown had argued that you're locking up young kids, throwing away the key when they have a great opportunity to change and their brains develop. But then you have other people saying there are people that are so damaged they should never be set free.
Yeah, all right. Dan, thanks. And now to a crime alert. As we get back to today's headlines, Portland police finding a stolen gun and stolen car with 5 teenagers inside. Officers stopped the car on Southeast 120th and Powell, telling us this car was stolen out of Gresham. Authorities tell us the driver was booked into juvenile detention and the 4 other teens were released, but they all could still face gun charges.
As temperatures in our area are warming up, chances are you felt or heard your car hitting a pothole recently.
On some streets, it's just hard to even dodge them. Jamie Seymour live in downtown Portland now, asking the tough questions, the city's Transportation Bureau, about what is being done to fix them. Jamie?
Yeah, you know, in part to that February winter storm that slammed Portland, conditions are more rough than in years past. Like this pothole on 4th Street downtown, deep enough that you can see down to the cobblestone. And beyond some of those hefty potholes popping up here in downtown, streets all across Portland are seeing them emerge from the southeast to the north, southwest to the northeast. And in one northeast neighborhood today, crews were already filling in at least 3 along one street before packing up and heading to the next. The Portland Bureau of Transportation says while many roads in the area do need full overhauls, the winter storm 2 months ago was a big force behind many we're seeing right now, more than in years past.
Our crews have been working really hard to chase potholes all over the city. We've had almost 1,000 requests in just a 30-day period.
PBOT is asking that if you've spotted some problematic potholes in your neighborhood or around town, call their pothole hotline, the 24-hour maintenance line, or document it online through PDX Reporter. You can also view the map online to see which ones have already been reported and how long it has taken crews to get to them. And coming up at 5, we're looking at and asking how funds from a voter-approved fuel tax are being used to fuel these repairs. Reporting live in downtown Portland, Jamie Seymour, KOIN 6 News.
Yeah, this is an issue that impacts so many people, and we're looking forward to your next report at 5 o'clock. Jamie, thanks.
It's all over the region. If you notice road problems in your neighborhood, you can find out more about how to report them at KOIN.com.
All right, so we talk about problems on the road, but when you look out and look up, no problems up in the skies. Josh, what a beautiful Friday.
A spectacular Friday, and well-deserved after the very soggy start to the week. Remember, Monday we had the atmospheric river move into our area. Now just seeing those bright blue sunny skies. But if those potholes are giving you a hard time, just take to the skies, and that's exactly what our very own KOIN 6 Chief Meteorologist Natasha Stenbach did earlier this afternoon, flying over downtown Portland with not only the bright blue sunny skies, but also the dry weather. Maybe you happen to have a weather photo or video you'd like to share. Scan that QR code on your screen and we'll continue the conversation over at KOIN.com. 39 degrees is where we currently stand with a live look out over Mount Hood Meadows. The peak now finally coming out from behind the clouds after a bit of a cloudy day out up in elevation, but our current conditions out over downtown, we couldn't ask for anything better as we flirt with 60 degrees yet again. This is the warmest day we've seen so far in the month of April, and we'll continue to keep those mild temperatures well into the late evening hours. It's not till after sunset that we start to see those temperatures fall back. Unfortunately, that trend does happen for our afternoon highs as we move into next week, all due to a cold front swinging through on Sunday, not only dropping our temperatures, but also bringing back the chance of rain and even some wind. So this is how our weekend is shaping up. Let's just look at Saturday. Don't even pay any attention to Sunday because our temperatures are going to be falling back to the mid-50s as the rain and the wind really starts to ramp up, which is good news when we're talking about April's rain statistics. Already seen a little more than 3¼ inches found out at PDX. That puts us above normal by nearly 2 inches. Now on this day, just last year in April, we managed to see almost exactly the same amount of rainfall. So the comparison only has us up last year compared to this year by 4/100ths of an inch. But we might be erasing those numbers here in the coming days as we anticipate the above average precip amounts for much of the Pacific Northwest over the next 6 to 10 days. But right now, a calm, quiet, and dry picture for us here across western Oregon and Washington as this very shallow ridge continues to build over the western half of the country. That will usher in those mild temperatures yet again tomorrow, even though we'll be seeing increased cloud coverage. The prefrontal clouds before our next storm brings this cold trough of air back over western Oregon and Washington, dropping our temperatures eventually by about 10 to 15 degrees. So here it is all timed out with our futurecast. Bright blue sunny skies through the evening. That's going to take us well through the overnight hours with increasing clouds for the start of the day tomorrow, falling back to the mid 40s for us across the Portland metro area. And we'll see maybe just a few breaks here and there, but mostly on the dry side throughout the entirety of Saturday. Sunday, though, that's when the wet weather really pushes its way back into our area. You'll notice some of those yellows and oranges, a good indication of heavier downpours that are expected. So over the next 48 hours, we anticipate to see about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of additional rain for the I-5 corridor, nearly a 1/2 inch found along the shoreline as our snow elevation levels start to take a bit of a dip. Sunday into Monday down to about 2,000 feet as we fall to the mid 40s come sunrise tomorrow with those increasing clouds. We'll see mostly cloudy skies and temperatures ever so close to 60 degrees for tomorrow, with our 7-day forecast keeping the wet weather trend in the near future. Starting Sunday, Monday, why not throw in the chance for a rumble of thunder, clap of lightning, and maybe even some small hail as we fall back to the low 50s. But then we gradually start to climb back out mid 50s, if not 60 degrees 1 week from today. So we're on this roller coaster ride that just seems never ending.
I think we're all well. We're just going to savor it while it's here.
Yes.
Yeah, wild spring
Thanks,
for
Josh.
sure. Thanks, Josh. All right, Coachella. Yeah, that big event, Coachella, is getting started today. Coming up, we have all the details on the music festival's surprise performer.
And we'll tell you how close Washington State is to legalizing magic mushrooms.
And a local home full of squatters is finally flipped. We'll explain how the neighborhood fought to get the improvements done.
You're watching Coin 6 News with Dan Tilkin and Elizabeth Din. Watching out for you.
You might remember Coin 6 first showed you this troubled house filled with squatters. It was for sale in southeast Portland last September. The original owner didn't have the means to remove the people.
Yeah, it was quite the ordeal when we first reported on this. The neighbors, though, hoped that a local investor could come in and fix it up, and the wishes came true. Now Elise Haas following up tonight on this story, bringing us to the finish line.
So the last time I brought you out to this problem property here at Southeast 52nd in Flavel, neighbors told me horror stories of drugs, police raids, and dangerous behavior. Well, now that's all changed.
Oh my gosh, this looks so much better.
Thank you.
A local fixer-upper, Cade Gardner, saw my news story last September about how this house was for sale as is with squatters, and soon after purchased the property with his partner. He took it from this mess and turned it into this beautiful home, complete with curb appeal.
Definitely went over budget, but it's kind of what you have to do it the right way.
His favorite features are a built-in dog kennel, a built-in mini fridge in the primary bedroom, and a built-in safe room in the basement.
Got the double vanity in here, the overhead.
But it was a difficult and dirty job.
Mattresses, there was just needles, drugs, yeah, pretty much you name it, and it was in here.
Neighbors were pleased with the process and the final product.
During the construction process and them flipping all that stuff over, they've been quite courteous. It's just much nicer.
But they're also grateful for the renewed peace of mind.
The traffic of drugs has diminished drastically.
It took Cade 6 months to rehab this home, but he's made lasting relationships along the way.
All the neighbors are happy. They've invited me out to dinner at their house and all this stuff, so that's been kind of cool, just getting to know everybody around here.
Residents hope to welcome a nice family to their neighborhood now that this move-in ready home is back on the market. In Southeast Portland,